Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another weekly edition of Timeout Talks, which is brought to you by Chase and Thrills, custom t-shirts and accessories, the Ice Shaker, and of course, we are streaming on the Kirk Minahan Show Network, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. We are back, Ben, alongside myself, Josh. We are going to talk some UFC 309 recap. We're going to get into big Celtics game tonight. Maybe get a couple feeler comments on that. My Cowboys stink as usual. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about your Patriots, some pros and cons from this past weekend, and of course Ben's Steelers winning another mighty fine divisional game, which is huge for him and his lads. 8-2 with Russell Wilson, who has not lost a game. I mean, Ben, let's start talking Steelers. We have to. Let's give these guys the appropriate introduction that they deserve. Enough with my Cowboys, enough with the Pats. Let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers that have not lost a game since Russell Wilson's been under helm, Ben. And you're sitting top of the division. The Chiefs just lost a game. I don't know, Ben. I mean, does it feel like this is the year?
I don't know if it's this year, Josh, but it's feeling there's something magical about this team, and everyone's rooting for us. It's strange, Josh. Everyone's saying we're a fun team now. We're kind of getting back to some of those killer bee days where everyone was kind of rooting for us, but we kind of got a more likable cast, I think, over here now. I know everyone's got their feelings about Russ, but he's really corralling these guys, and I'm excited about this team. And we just got to thank Boswell for this last game, Josh. We got to thank Boswell. He's the best kicker in the league. I mean, he just basically won us the game. Obviously, he won us the game. We're 2-0 this year without a scoring touchdown. The rest of the league's 2-19. So it's pretty good right now to be a Steelers fan, Josh. I'm pretty excited, but I don't know. I want to temper the expectations because the Texans. I mean, there's another dark horse team. I mean, again, Nico Collins back. I think the AFC's a little deeper than I thought. But the Texans are looking really good, Josh, just based off that game last night. Against the Cowboys, so you gotta give a little weight against that. But all right, there we go. This is Marco. I like that. I like that one right here. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. But no, the Steelers. I'm feeling good, Josh. I'm feeling good right now. Let's just make a deep playoff run. I'm not saying any Super Bowl, contention yet, but I'm feeling pretty good.
I mean, and you got to be feeling good with the fact that you've owned the ball. I mean, it's been you look around the AFC and it's been the same thing. The same old Baltimore Ravens, they struggle in the division. When the going gets hard and they play good teams, they kind of panic a little. And again, I'm not going to read too much into it because just that division, Ben, and interesting game coming up this weekend. I could see the Browns keeping it close. That's all I'm going to say. But any game in that division is it's up for grabs, no matter who's the quarterback, no matter who's the running back, no matter who's on defense, who's on offense. And we saw it on full display this weekend. But, I mean, hey, I got to give credit to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, they kind of went back in the time machine to earlier in the season and, when they couldn't score a touchdown. But they still found a way to win a game, which is fine. I mean, it's a divisional game. I'm not going to read too much into it. I mean, Najee Harris getting better. Again, Russell Wilson doing all those things you need for your starting quarterback to put you in positions to win the game. And I know you talk about the Texans, but watching that game last night, I think it's more of a Cowboy issue. If I had to be serious, I think I would take you guys over the Texans right now. Again, if the Texans had to go into Pittsburgh, that would be a problem. Obviously, it looks like the Texans will probably win their division, so that might not happen within the first round. Maybe the Ravens end up overseeing you, and somehow in the seeding it matches up with you guys and the Texans. But I'm going to be completely honest. There's only a few teams in the AFC right now. And again, I'm not saying the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm not doing this bandwagon thing. I'm not going to go nuts and say the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to go all the way. But from what I've seen, there's only 2, maybe 3 teams better than the Pittsburgh Steelers right now, and that is the Buffalo Bills, the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm looking at my screen, and that's about it. I mean, I would take you guys over the Texans. Maybe the Chargers are better than you, but I mean, I'm pretty sure you've already got the win on them. I don't know. I mean, if things keep playing out the way that it's been playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers, they can handle their division. They can win the games they have to win. And you get a home field playoff game. Oh boy, watch out. We got Lewis. Welcome back, Lewis.
Let's go. Welcome back, Lewis. But you just said right there, Josh, it's that home field advantage. If we can secure that, it's going to be huge for us just going as long as we can in the playoffs. But ultimately, I think that's what hinges on. And like you said, it's a little up for grabs in the AFC. I don't know. I'm not as lenient on you. I think the Texans had our number the past couple times they played us. C.J. Stroud kind of shreds this defense a little, so I'm still worried about them. And obviously the Bills looking like the top dogs, but they're obviously regular season team, so we got to see them in the playoffs. I gotta see the Bills get a couple wins in the playoffs, prove it to me, get past that Chiefs demons in them. I know they can get past them in the regular season, but
it's. I'm not, and again, like
I welcome you on it, Josh. Too, you can join anytime you want. You can join the Steelers bandwagon.
It's just, I don't know. I mean, they've won the games they've had to win, and that's the issue right there, Lewis. And I honestly, Lewis, I think if you look at the NFL, I think the NFL is pretty weak this year. I look at the NFC, and that no disrespect, the Steelers are a great team. Even if it was a little more powered, I still think that they find a way to get in the playoffs. But you look at the contenders, and it's just so like top heavy. Like, you look at the NFC, the Lions are legit. And then it's just, a bunch of teams. Like the 49ers are trying to figure things out. Are the Cardinals really legit? I mean, I know they're kind of in helm of the division right now, but they could lose to the Seahawks for all we know this weekend. That's another team on the ins and outs. Falcons are in position to win that division. Can they really muster up a playoff win? I don't think so. Then you got the Commanders, a young team. Eagles, everybody has their doubts on them. I don't know. It's just it's a wild season. I think it's a very weak season for certain teams. I think it's very top heavy. We know who's going to be, the last remaining 8 or the last remaining 6 within, four, excuse me, within the NFL. But tough season for my Cowboys, of course, Don the Jeweler, and it's just it's a really, like Lewis said, it's a week to week basis. If anything, this year, it's hard for me to get a grip on, and it's really hard for me to figure out. Aside from the Lions, Chiefs, and Bills, Ben, I mean, the rest of the teams, it's kind of a crapshoot.
Yeah, another team you threw in there, Josh, that I've been hyped up on. I've been seeing some good things from it. You said people have been down with them a little throughout the year, and I've been one of those people. But I think the Eagles are really turning it around. So I put the Eagles and the Lions as the top dogs in the NFC. I think Saquon, obviously, it's really no sort of football insight for me on this one. But yeah, Saquon definitely improves this offense and takes this offense to the next level. Jalen Hurts doesn't have to rely on his feet as much. A.J. Brown finally getting healthy so he can get back to the pass game. That opens up Devontae Smith. Dallas Goedert's having a good year over there. He's staying healthy. So I think the Eagles are finally turning around. I put them up there with the Lions, but as Lewis said, the AFC still weak, but I don't know. I think the AFC is stronger than the NFC. It's still I agree, it's still weak, but I think the AFC, as we mentioned, some of these teams, the Bills, the Chiefs, Steelers, Ravens, Chargers at the back end. The Bengals are still clawing, and they probably won't make the playoffs, but that's a tough out. Joe Burrow and Jamar
for
Chase
sure. I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, they're putting on shows right now, Josh. They can't help it if they got no offensive line and no defense, but. Yeah, and that's, I want to give the shout out to the Chargers, too. All the Chargers fans out there. Joe Alt. Everyone was making fun of that move, Josh. Everyone was making fun of that draft.
Including pick. Jose.
Yeah, exactly. Including Jose. Listen, I'll give him a little lenience on that. He's still the fan and everything. So he was just being a little hard critic with his team. But still, I was telling him, hey, relax. That's a great pick, and you're seeing it right now. I mean, a rebirth of J.K. Dobbins, he's coming out of here, and now Herbert's actually, got Slater on the other side, just Alt right over there. He's finally got some protection, and the defense doesn't have to be out there for the whole game, Josh. Derwin James is finally getting to showcase himself. Bosa, I know, has been hurt, but Khalil Mack, obviously when Bosa gets back, he can go. Khalil Mack's was showing out over there, so the Chargers finally getting to showcase that team. So just want to give a little quick shout out to that offensive lineman pick right there. Jim Harbaugh doing great jobs over there.
Yeah, I mean, and to kind of balance off that point, like they're just a hard-nosed, gritty football team. Like they've got a barrage of weapons. I mean, they don't have like a true number one threat. Quentin Johnston's still trying to figure himself out. Same with Lad McConkey, who has been great. He's really been kind of picking it up a little bit as the season has gone. But
fantasy.
Oh, jeez, Ben's a lot.
Shane. I gave him to Shane. I got Kyle Pitts.
Another guy that I don't know. He's off my list in terms of drafting. I can't trust the guy. I can't trust anybody on that damn team. Drake London, him, Bijan. I can't trust that team, Ben. But no, to your point, I mean, I agree with that. I think the AFC is, stronger than the NFC. I think the NFC is just so like all over the place. I think the Lions are the surefire team. I think kind of looking at this past weekend, maybe the Bills, they can throw their name in the hat. But right now, gun to my head, I had to make a decision. I would probably choose the Lions and the Chiefs. I know that's kind of like the fan favorite, but that's probably what I'd go with. But like you said, Ben, I mean, I think I look at a lot of the teams within the AFC that, I see a lot of matchups in terms of, I wouldn't want to play that team. Talking about the Bengals. I mean, the Broncos could be given teams. They're a tough matchup. I think that they'll fall off. They might not make the playoffs, but just in terms of in the hunt, in, teams to kind of give a hard time and just teams you don't want to see in the playoffs. The Bengals kind of remind me of the Packers of last season where, they couldn't just figure it out and then they slid in and then, all of a sudden they beat my Dallas Cowboys. They got Lewis in here talking about, are they going to keep Dak? When are you going to start Lamb? I mean, the Packers sent us to a full frenzy, which we'll talk about a little bit later. I'll get to a couple of your questions too a little bit later, Lewis. But starting the show off, recapping week 11 and I don't know, Ben, I've kind of all over the place right now, but I digress with it. I agree with you. I think the AFC is a little more stronger than the NFC. Again, I'm going to harp on this statement that I do think that the NFL this year, National Football League, is very weak in terms of top-heavy teams. I don't know. I think it's kind of Lions and Chiefs right now. I go with the Lions because they look like the best team in National Football League. And I go with the Chiefs just based on their record, their experience. And once the playoffs come, Ben, it's going to be a switch is going to click in Patrick Mahomes' head. Travis Kelce's going to turn back the dial to 2018, his prime. Andy Reid's going to be calling deep into his playbook. All of a sudden, Juju Smith-Schuster is going to be the guy. I know how it works with them. That's why I'm not. I'm sorry, Jared, but I'm not jumping around if I'm in Buffalo. It's a big win. It's your fourth win against the Chiefs. And again, you're a legitimate contender. You probably will go to the AFC Championship, but it comes back to the same sentiment that I have with the Steelers, that I have with the Ravens, that I have, with the Chargers, that I have with all these teams, more so the Steelers, Ravens, Bills, but I need to see it to believe it. The 49ers, are they going to win the Super Bowl? I need to see it to believe it. Same thing you guys said about my Cowboys who stink. Same thing we talk about with the Bills. Same thing that we talk about with the Ravens, Lamar Jackson. I need to see it to believe it, Ben. That's where I'm at with that. And we got Lewis. If we're talking trash teams, the Patriots are coming and hey, to Ben's point too, maybe you need a lineman, maybe you need one more receiver. I mean, that Joe Alt pick looked pretty good for the Chargers. I'm rambling here. I'm going to turn it over to Ben, but I don't know, Ben, just a lot of just looking at the National Football League last week. Like, I think people are forgetting about the Eagles. People are forgetting about, the Lions a little bit in terms of, I don't know. They're not forgetting about the Lions, but I don't know, man. Wild week, and it's a week-to-week league this year. Lewis, wow. Throwing some jabs there.
I kind of like
throwing some jabs.
I like to like that. Sorry, that was a little. Yeah, no, it was a little laggy for me. I don't know if it's a little laggy, but
a little bit. We'll move forward. We can get into.
Listen,
I don't know if you can.
It's typical.
I don't know if you can hear me there, Ben. We'll come back to the NFL. We've done some recap. We'll do a little more recap a little bit later, but let's turn over to UFC. I mean, two pretty good fights on that card. I know James was kind of talking about this card being a little wishy-washy, kind of underwhelming. I agree with that, but Charles Oliveira just in a dominant display, although Michael Chandler trying to make things happen, just couldn't happen. Threw a couple of those backdrops, didn't end up working out. And of course, the legendary John Jones continues his reign of legacy here. 20 unbeaten fights. He has not been beaten in 20 fights within the UFC. That is the longest reigning streak, and I believe one of the longest reigning streaks of all time within the UFC. Lewis wants to say it. Lewis going to get us going here with one of the first comments. John Jones, nothing else.
Yeah, I heard you a little at the end, Josh. A little laggy on my end. It's my fault, but great call with the Broncos pick too. I totally forgot about the Broncos over there. Just recapping my last thoughts on the football one. So the AFC is a little stronger than I thought, as we've been talking about. So I got to give the AFC a little more credit, but yeah, that's a good way to describe this card, Josh. I didn't watch all of it, not gonna lie. It was a little underwhelming, some of the fights. I did watch some of the highlights. That Bo Nickel one, a little tough to get booed. Yeah, that was Paul Craig's not the most fun fighter either. He's kind of a submission guy, just like Nickel, but thought it'd be a little more entertaining. As you said, I mean, that was Oliveira and Chandler put on a show. That fifth round, Joe Rogan said it was the best round he's ever seen in UFC. Chandler he just put on a show. He put on a show over there and gave it everything he could in that fifth round. Almost got me. I mean, Oliveira was wobbled. Oliveira, it looked like he was going down. But Oliveira just salvaged it at the end. He just needed to escape that round. I mean, it was obviously Oliveira won the fight. Chandler needed a knockout. That's why he was going crazy. But, I mean, that's why you got to give him credit, Josh. You got to give him credit, Chandler. He always puts on a show. Doesn't win, as much as he used to. But he always goes out there and puts on a show for the fans. That's what you got to respect about him. I love the little call-outs, too. Always got to end that. Always got to end the call-out with calling out Connor, seeing where he's at. So, there's still, obviously, he still wants that fight. But I don't think he's going to get that one anytime soon, if ever. So I'd like to see him versus Holloway. I know we called out Max first, so that would have been nice. But yeah, as Lewis said, John Jones just, he's another class, another world class. Obviously above Stipe. Stipe, just 40 something. He's a firefighter. We knew this was going to happen. We knew he wasn't. We knew he wasn't going to beat John Jones. But I think this was just a perfect setup for the Aspinall fight. Now I know Dana's come out and said, hey, he's not going to do Pereira or, any of these fun fights that John Jones wants. He owes it to Aspinall. Some of those older guys that John Jones fought when he was younger, you got to give the chances to the younger guys. You got to give, their chance to get those belts to those guys like it happened to John Jones. So John Jones is a veteran now, and he's got to give these younger guys a chance like Tom Aspinall, some of these young and up-and-coming guys. So I think that's going to be the next fight. That's going to be the next big one, Josh. I'm excited to watch that one because Aspinall's got a chance. He's got a chance against John Jones, but as he said, this one was a little underwhelming. But I think overall those last two fights saved the card. It was worth it. I'd say it was worth it. And then that heavyweight fight in that prelims was pretty bloody too. Diaz, the doctor stoppage, that was a good fight too. But overall, a little underwhelming.
And it just kind of goes to your point. Like I was out for the fights, and I completely forgot about that fight. Like it just kind of underwhelming at certain moments, as you mentioned. But yeah, I mean, in that Ben, this is what Ben. And I actually, you know what? There you go. You know what? Because that was going to be my next point. I mean, not Lewis's point. Your point, Ben. It should be Aspinall. Excuse me.
Still lying. I wish. Yeah, no. It's of course now it's doing a little bit of a lag when I want to answer it, but I'll wait for the lag to die down a little. I'll wait for it to die down. I'll get back to it. But he's beat everyone that he's been given to, Josh. The heavyweight division stinks right now. He's beat Lewis. He's beat Sergey Palpovich. That was the next big guy. I don't have all his fights, but I mean every guy that they've given to him, he's beat. So Curtis Blades. I mean, every person that's up there has been some of these big guys he's beaten. So I think I kind of lagged
and
through that, but
no, I mean, hey, it's all right. This is a weekly occurrence with our network issues. It's not always on Ben. Sometimes it's me as well. But yeah, no, that was actually my point. Was literally going to be, he's the guy. He's the guy that it should be. I know it kind of sounded like I was agreeing with Lewis there, but no, I agree with Ben. I mean, whether he's ducking this, whether it's building up for a better promotion, a better fight, like. He needs to fight him. He's the top dog right now. He's not 43 years old. He's not out of his prime. John Jones is arguably the best, probably the best UFC fighter I've ever seen. I saw a little bit of Habib, but I've seen more of John Jones. Just, this is the fight that we need. I know everybody's talking about the Alex Oliveira versus John Jones, but, the weight class has got to come together. This fight is knocking on the door. This is the fight on the silver platter for you. This is the hungry Tom Aspinall who's, hasn't lost a fight since I can't even remember, since I started watching the UFC. And this is John Jones who, he came out, he looked like a vintage John Jones in that last fight, Ben. And to everybody, we got Ben back here. And to everybody watching, but this is the fight you have to sell me. The only true chance of John Jones losing, I look at it, we don't need to see Gane, we don't need to see Lewis, we don't need to see any of these guys. Nagano's not in the UFC anymore. This is, in Tom Aspinall, is the number one option for John Jones in the UFC right now. That should be the fighter that John Jones gets. It shouldn't be anyone other than Tom Aspinall. I couldn't agree with Ben anymore. I know Lewis is going to say, who has he really beaten? But, I look at these Cyril Ganes, I look at these other guys, and, Stipe, what has Stipe done since in the last 3 or 4 years? I know he's one of the best, if not the best, heavyweight fighter of all time, so I'm not going to sit here and disrespect him. But in terms of relevancy, in terms of what have you done for me lately, Tom Aspinall is arguably been the best heavyweight guy right now. I mean, aside from John Jones, in terms of knocking on the door, I think it's a no-brainer, a situation that I'm very happy, as you mentioned, Dana White said, no, you know what? We are going to give this one to Tom Aspinall. He deserves it. And I think that would be a huge, huge fight, Ben. I know it appeals to more of the casuals to throw Alex Pereira in there with John Jones. I don't think that they're going to do that. I don't think that they will do that. I don't think that they want to do that. Both of these guys are at the peak. Maybe if John Jones wants to flirt with continuing to maybe down the line, but I don't think it's a matchup we want to see. And, I should say, I don't think that's a matchup we're going to see. I think the Tom Aspinall matchup is the dream matchup.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Like
There we go,
saying
Lewis.
before, Josh, you just there we go, Lewis. Let's go. Let's get after that. But like I said, you can't help it if the heavyweight division stinks right now. Heavyweight division's not, the top division in the UFC anymore. So he's beating everyone that they've given to him. So John Jones is up next. It's got to be.
Yeah, it's the fight, even for a casual like myself. Of course, we want to see Oliveira out there. I know I kind of blundered on my words a little bit. Of course, we want to see Oliveira out there, but not Oliveira. I am all over the place. Of course, we want to see Alex Pereira out there, but it's got to be Tom Aspinall. That would be talk about. Then Lewis is talking about who have you beaten. I mean, if he beats John Jones, that's the fight. That's basically takes off your career, but. We're going to move forward. We're going to get through some of the games this weekend, starting with your New England Patriots. We are going to talk about the New England Patriots taking on the Miami Dolphins. This is a 1:00 game in Miami. I'll go quick, Ben. Getting Tua back. I like that the rhythm that the Miami Dolphins are in. I think this is a game they are going to win. I know last week aside from the show, I was putting a couple bets on the Patriots to win. I don't think that's going to happen. I think the Miami Dolphins do win at home. They're kind of flirting within the hunt right now. Patriots, they're going to get that good pick. They're going to get a top 5 draft pick. That's fine. They're going to go get Campbell. They're going to get the offensive lineman they need. I think the Dolphins do win this game at home. Patriots always struggle in Miami historically. As much as I want to take the Patriots here, I'm going to take the Miami Dolphins. Close game. I'm going to say 27-20. Patriots do put up more than 20 points this week.
Oh, wow. More than 20 points. That's a pretty good prediction from Josh. But yeah, I'll go Dolphins. This is an easy one. Patriots just put up a nice fight against the Rams last week or this past week. But you can just tell this team's not as talented as these other guys, and Dolphins getting all their guys back. Tua's healthy. Hill's looking like his own former self. Jalen Waddle too. Devin Achane going off. So the Dolphins are clicking right now. They're trying to get into make that late postseason push. I think they're in the playoffs, but they're looking good right now. So give me the Dolphins. Just the Patriots. Sorry, as Lewis said, they stink right now. So gotta go get a lineman, maybe Travis Hunter in the draft, but give me the Dolphins.
Ooh. Wow, throwing that one out there. Kind of all over the place as this podcast has been tonight. I completely forgot you guys about Thursday Night Football. I literally saw it on the right side of the screen when we were talking about the Steelers earlier. Let's get to this quick. I said I was kind of flirting with the fact that I don't know why I forgot it. I mean, you guys should have a better opponent than this. I feel bad for you guys, but you're going to win this game. It's going to be a close game, kind of the inverse records, 8-2 versus the 2-8 Browns. Browns are abysmal, Ben. They're going to go get a new quarterback. They need a rehaul. We talk about a lot of teams needing a rehaul. The poor Cleveland Browns, man. They need a rehaul. It's going to be kind of a dogfight in terms of divisional game. They got guys like Myles Garrett out there, sneaky good defense that, I feel bad. They just don't have the offensive counterparts to pair for them. They got rid of Cooper, etc. I won't take too much time talking about this. Steelers win. Think it's going to be low scoring, but high scoring in the sense that the Steelers do get into the end zone this weekend. I'm going to say 20-10. Weird score there. Steelers get the job done. Actually, I'm going to go 20-7.
Patriots.
Ben's going to like that.
That's a good point. Drake May is him though. Drake May. Yeah, they got themselves with a winner in that one, and hey, yeah, George Pickens is pretty good too. When he's not trying to wrestle guys or just throw some WWE moves on everyone, getting stupid penalties. He's been looking good right now. I think Russell's calmed him down a little. But I'll take the Steelers in this, Josh. It's easy. Steelers over the Browns. It's going to be a dogfight. Going to be closer. I'll go 17-13. Going to be a boring Thursday night game. So going to be another boring one. Just if you're not a fan of either of these teams, you're probably not going to want to watch this one. Well, I got the Steelers. Yeah, the Browns are just awful. One of the worst trades ever in sports history with Deshaun Watson. So the Browns just doing Browns things, and they got to start over again, Josh.
Jeez. Tell me about wow. Cowboys Commanders. I'm going to keep it. This is Lewis. I know you had your comment earlier. I know you were talking to me in one of the chats. You don't want me to avoid it. I don't think that they're going to get rid of Dak. I don't know what they're doing here in terms of not playing Trey Lance. Cooper Rush had some flashes in the pan this weekend, but just do something with Trey Lance. I know he's not going to be the guy next year, but just put him out there at some point. If it's, give Cooper Rush maybe the keys one more time this weekend. It's going to be a tough matchup, throwing Trey Lance out there, whatever. But I want Trey Lance out there for Thanksgiving. Keep it a little interesting. Giants just called out Tommy DeVito. You're going to call out Trey Lance. Call Trey Lance out there. Why not, Ben? I think the Commanders are going to win this game. They're at home. They're the better team right now. They're younger. They're stronger. They're better. They've got more talent, believe it or not. The Cowboys don't have their starting quarterback. And even if they did have their starting quarterback, I don't think they'd win this game. It's not a good game for them. I like the Commanders. And guess what? Start Trey Lance on the sentiment of this. You've got nothing to lose. I'm not saying you got to keep him and ride him into the, destiny, but it could be a situation kind of like Cooper Rush where, he shows what he can do. All right, you know what? He's a young guy. Maybe we do kind of keep him as a backup for Dak. And then maybe somewhere down the line, he does get the start. But I don't think that's going to happen. I don't actually believe in him anymore. And I don't know. Maybe that's why they're not starting him, but youth, he's got longevity, hopefully. And maybe even if he does play well, you can some other team can kick the tires on him and bring him in if he does kind of showcase something. Remind you a little bit of a Tyler Huntley thing there where, he was kind of able to showcase a little bit, had some teams interested. But I'm going to say Commanders win this one. I'll go we've been letting up 30 points every week. I'm going to say 34-17. Dallas will be lucky to get 17, but I'll be optimistic in that sense. Dallas loses.
Yeah, yeah. No offense, Josh, but yeah, we're gonna have to agree with that one, and yeah, I'll just easily take the Commanders in this one. But I do like your sentiment right there with Trey Lance. It's what I was thinking too, watching Cooper Rush last night. We know what we're getting out of Cooper Rush. Let's put that experiment away. Let's just try Trey Lance out there. You never know. I mean, the Cowboys not mathematically out of the playoffs. If you rattle off a couple wins, you never know. Maybe get a wild card, you sneak in, but you're not doing that with Cooper Rush. We all know that. Everyone knows that. As Josh mentioned, at nice couple moments, last night, just the offensive line, losing Smith and Martin, they're kind of just in shambles. So the Cowboys kind of just falling apart. I don't even think it's Cooper Rush's fault, but we've just seen this story with him. So I think it's time to let Trey Lance loose. It'll be a little fun Thanksgiving Day, as Josh alluded to. Trey Lance versus Tommy DeVito. It'll be a kind of cool game over there. It wasn't what you were really expecting before the season, but I think you just let the Trey Lance experiment go. Maybe he ends up, you never know, maybe he ends up your starting quarterback. Maybe he impresses so much, or, he just becomes a nice little trade piece, fill some of those voids that you need because of Dak and CD's contract. You got to go get someone cheap, get some of those trade pieces, start drafting, start building up that way. But, yeah, I think for the Cowboys, just put Trey Lance in there. Give us something fun, because last night was pretty bad. Not even, like I said, not even Cooper Rush's fault. That offensive line was just... Danielle Hunter was in the backfield literally every single time. Watching Zach Martin, obviously he's banged up. He's just not looking his former self. As I mentioned, losing Taylor Smith, too, I think in the next drive, it was just...
Guyton gone.
Yeah.
Guyton was out.
Like I said last week, it's not even the Cowboys' fault. It's not even... I know everyone likes to crap on them and make fun of them. It's not even their fault. It's just, injuries are just piling up. Injuries, their whole team is injured. It's just... That's why I just let Trey Lance go. Let him have some fun with this. Okay, that's a good point, Patriots. Yeah, maybe that's a good point, but at this point, why not? Screw it. See what he can do.
I don't hate that sentiment, but here we go. This is our time of the week here, NFL Week 12. We're gonna get to our locks and upsets, and then we are gonna be off into the sunset. But I'll start quick. This team just lost a game. They're angry. They are, arguably the best team in the National Football League. You can say that. They're going to go on the road, and they're going to romp. They're going to womp, and they're going to rumble. The Kansas City Chiefs are my lock of the week. They're going to beat down on the Carolina Panthers. I know Bryce Young's kind of getting a little bit of resurgence. It's fun and all. I like Bryce Young, but that's going to come to an end. The Kansas City Chiefs are my lock of the week. They are going to dominate. They are going to destroy. It's gonna be bonkers. They're gonna ball out. I'm gonna say they put up 40 points on the road. I'm gonna say 40-17. They get the job done. 40-14. I think the Kansas City Chiefs are gonna have a statement game this week. That's how much of a lock, and that is how much of a prediction and statement game I think that they will have. Kansas City Chiefs win that one. That's my lock of the week.
Another little camera glitch right there. I don't know if you still got me, Josh, but...
Hey, we got you. Black screen, but we got you.
Black screen. Okay.
There we go.
I'll just keep talking. I got the Lions as my lock. Lions is my lock. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, Josh.
That's all right. It's all right.
You put it right up.
We can hear you.
Lions, this is easy. The cold stink. Cold stink, Josh. Keep it simple as that. Cold stink. Take the Lions. Anthony Richardson, better to have him in there, but you can't beat these Lions after they just embarrassed the Jags. Give me the Lions. Give me the Lions. Spread everything. Take it by 1,000.
Lions by 1,000. I'm gonna go with my upset here. At home, big game. We saw, and Ben's gonna love this one. This team is a gritty team, hard-nosed team. I've got the Los Angeles, and I really, every single time I'm on the podcast, I'm going to call them San Diego Chargers, but they're Los Angeles Chargers upsetting the Baltimore Ravens. I like the way the Chargers have been playing. They're just making matters meet and making ends meet by a plethora of options. I love the dual running backs. As Ben has mentioned, I completely forgot about the resurgence of J.K. Dobbins. Edwards as well. They're doing things that they have to do. They're winning the football games. Harbaugh versus Harbaugh. And I think Jim is actually going to get the win in this one. I have the Los Angeles Chargers winning this one. My upset of the week. And as always, I'm going to turn it over to Ben to finish things off with his upset of the week. His screen's back. He's ready to go. But let's get to this one last. Ricky, you missed it. Yes. Cowboys stink. But my upset of the week, I'll do it one more time. Chargers winning this week. That's my upset. And again, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. Want to thank John, our producer, who we don't give enough credit for. Want to thank Justin, those guys. Kirk Minahan as well for letting us do our thing on his platform. Appreciate that. But I'll leave it with this. Let's go Celtics tonight. Huge game. Undefeated Cavs. I don't want to talk about my Cowboys, but I'll leave it with that. Celtics with a dominant win tonight. Thank you to everybody for tuning in.
Yeah, we talked about the Cowboys enough for Josh. And thank you to Kirk and everybody for letting me buffer on here. I'm still buffering a little, but I'll go for my upset, Josh. A little weird one. NFC North. I got the Bears over the Vikings. Something's got to give. The Bears just keep getting screwed in every situation. They got to win something. Vikings showing little weaknesses. Got kind of lucky with that Tennessee call. So I'll give that little upset over. That's the Bears. I'll keep it short and sweet, Josh. Celtics hand the Cavs their first loss tonight. Let's go Celtics.